If I Google you right now, what exactly am I going to find? An outdated LinkedIn profile, social media posts from 2016, or absolutely nothing at all? I appreciate we're in this era where being offline is seen as a status symbol, or there's this weird flex that you're too busy and too important to even have a digital presence. But think about it in this way, so much has changed in the last 10 years. We're heading towards a gig economy, and there are mass layoffs across every industry you can think of, and whether people like it or not, they're being forced to become business owners or freelancers. How trust is established, how opportunities are being distributed, and how consumers are buying from companies has drastically changed. Competition isn't local anymore, it is global. The person with the stronger online reputation will get the bigger opportunities regardless of geography. I see this all the time when investors are doing their due diligence, when hiring managers are vetting candidates, or when corporate clients are looking to give away six-figure contracts. They will do their searching, and if they cannot find you, they could easily assume that you do not care about your reputation or you have nothing valuable to actually say. So that absence and that mysterious aura you have created becomes the brand that you have built, and it is very limiting. People often confuse personal branding with becoming an influencer, and it's absolutely not that, especially if you're looking to build a thought leadership brand. All personal branding is strategic reputation management. And what I mean by that is you already have a reputation, good or bad, invisible or visible. People already form opinions about your expertise, your judgment, and your ability based on what they see. The question is, are you the architect, or are you letting random data points and assumptions that people are going to make build the narrative for you? I'm Bianca, and I spent the first half of my career telling other people's stories and interviewing politicians, celebrities, CEOs, and investors. In other words, I know how to spot a story. But for the past year, I've actually been growing my content and branding business, working with B2B companies as well as leaders across different industries to help them position themselves as the go-to expert in their industry. In short, personal branding and content creation. It matters because of how human decision making actually works. When someone needs expertise, they think, who do I know that understands this problem? Their brain scans for a name, a face, and a clear positioning. Perception is everything in business. If there are 20 law firms in front of your ideal customer who all have amazing reviews, they're going to pick someone who they believe or they feel like is the right one for them. That's when branding, market positioning, and content creation all comes into play. Before you post anything, you have to ask yourself these foundational questions. And I'm not talking about surface level questions that most people answer. I'm talking about going much deeper. You have to go into the psychology of your ideal customer profile. Who are they? Where do they shop? What are their pain points? What emotional state they're in when they need what you offer? And that's going to determine the tone that we use when we're going to speak with them. Question 2 is, what do you want to be known for? And when I've asked clients this in the past, they basically say their job title, not realizing that job titles are organizational. They tell me where you sit in a hierarchy, but they don't actually tell me what problem you want to solve. What you want is a position, and that is the mental category that people put you in when they have a specific need. And the best way to figure out what your position is, think of your what, your why, and your how. The what is the work you do, not your job title, but the actual problem that you solve. The how is your distinctive methodology or approach. What makes your solution different? The why is the transformation or the outcome that comes from working with you. You need to think about who you are for and who you are not for. For example, I help senior leaders in VC, tech, and media turn their expertise into strategic content by applying my journalistic and sales background to business positioning, so they can establish market authority without compromising their credibility. So when I think about some of my clients, these are people who have deep expertise but hate self-promotion. People who understand the need and the importance of visibility but also don't want to be influencers. My services are not for early career professionals. They're not for people who just want to go viral. I'm not trying to appeal to professionals who just want to build a personal brand. That is too wide. That is too broad. Targeting a specific group, senior people with a reputation to protect who feel stuck between I need to be visible and the idea of building a personal brand feels really cringe to me. Question 3 is, who really needs this? And I honestly think this is a question that a lot of people do not think about. Your brand is not about you. It's about being findable by people who have a problem that you can solve. So some people might say that my ICP is a VP senior executive that is based in Chicago. Then they think they're done, but that is just demographic targeting. What you need to understand is their emotional triggers, emotional states that someone will be in when they finally decide to say yes to your services. So my ideal client is not a CEO who just needs thought leadership. That is very surface level. It is someone who feels frustrated because people who are less qualified than them are getting way more opportunities because of visibility. They believe that posting motivational quotes is beneath them, but equally understand they have to do something to build their brand. They're stuck in this gap or this cognitive dissonance that tells them that my expertise should just speak for itself. What this means is when I'm creating content for my ideal customer profile, I'm speaking directly to the emotional experience that they could be going through. Now, we have to talk about authenticity. There's who you actually are, your shadow self, all the messy, unfiltered parts, and there's who you show up to be in the world, your persona. And the gap between those two is the inauthenticity. But the nuance, which is really, really important, I do not actually show up as my full self online. I would actually never do that because that will probably scare away my ideal customers. And that's why knowing who your customers are is really, really, really important. I'm not going to show up in a client pitch, I don't know, eating cereal and wearing pajamas. Very exaggerative, but that's authentic Abianca at 7 a.m. But it's not professional Abianca. The goal is to make the gap as small as possible while still being professional and strategic. This means sharing your actual perspective even when it's controversial, but understanding how that might resonate with your ICP, admitting what you don't know, but positioning it in a way that shows you are eager to learn, talking about failures and course corrections, but then talking about how you turned it around, showing the reasoning behind your decisions, not just the highlight reel. When I started my consultancy, I could have pretended I'd be doing this for years. Instead, I talked openly about being laid off from journalism and figuring out how to translate investigative skills into brand strategy. That transparency didn't hurt my credibility, it actually built it. Now, I've been talking for quite a long time. I'm not sure if you're interested in videos like this, but please do hit that subscribe button if this did help you, and let me know if you want a part 2 of this video.